Mm. Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, man, this doesn't work. And thank you guys for helping me to get to 25,000 subscribers. And in honor of that, I'm going to eat some apple pie. Didn't have time to bake one, so went to the grocery store and got some apple pie with my favorite ice cream, Fudge Ripple ice cream. Oh, and it's warm. The reason I'm doing this is I remember when my daughter, aka Doll, probably 6 or 7 years ago, when she got to 25,000 subscribers. Boy, this is good after a long day. Wanted a pie to celebrate. So, when I grow up, I want to be just like my daughter. So I'm getting my pie. Wish I could share this with you guys. It's actually pretty good. To think back, October 2016, on my birthday, I hit 1,000. And since then, 24 of you guys have joined in. And I promised you guys, as soon as I finish this cake, that I am going to tell a story. A true story that I don't tell too many people because it's a great story. But it's a little embarrassing too. See, I've always loved football, always played football. In high school, I was an offensive guard. Not too bad. Wasn't particularly really big, but I was strong and I was fast. In my senior year, sorry, this pie is really good. I don't want to wait till after this video because the ice cream will be melted. But the last scrimmage of my senior year, we had scouts from UBA there. And they were interested in taking me to play at UBA and taking me as an offensive guard and converting me into a fullback because I was 5'11", about 210, 215 pounds. And I was running about a 4.6 40. Problem was, last 2 minutes of that game, we punted the ball. My job was outside contain. Sorry, just had to do that. My job was outside contain. Ran to the outside, got out there, looked at, see the punt returner, see the ball. I can remember this like it was yesterday. The ball goes right through his hands, hits his knee, and starts rolling for me. The only thing I see is the football and the end zone. And in my mind, it's like this is going in slow motion. I'm thinking this is going to be the perfect way to end this with the scout watching. And just as I was in full stride, about to touch the football, my left leg was planted. And that's when a guy hit me in the shoulder. I saw this on video one time, and this is one of those things that once was enough. Because the camera was perfectly centered on my knee. My knee went sideways, like this, with my body over it. Tore my ACL. From that point on, they were like, well, if you get accepted, then you can try out for the team. Clearly, and back in those days, an ACL tear was terrible. Make a long story short, it's just the beginning of when they started using the scope. And at that point, they weren't that good at rebuilding. So they basically cleaned up my knee without an ACL, and I still to this day do not have an ACL in my left knee, and my knee is pretty much shot. And I told you guys I'd have to have a little drink with this story. So my knee screwed up. I missed the first 4 games of the season, but miraculously I got to play the last 6. But basically the doctor said, listen, you can forget about shot put and disc. I mean, you can forget about long jumping and all that stuff with track and field and things. Your knee just won't hold up. Maybe not even discus. Well, I went to state in shot put and in discus. And I ran pretty much from the quarter down. So I went to school at JMU. I decided I wanted to be a decathlete. And so I had to lose weight. I was great at shot put, discus, long jumping, but my problems were pole vaulting because I kept breaking poles, and high jumping. Everything else I was okay with. The 1500 I wasn't crazy about, but I could do it. It just took me a week to do it. But while practicing all the time, the coaches that were there my freshman year were fired, Chalice McMillan, and they hired Joe Przicki. And there was a defensive coach by the name of Charles Jones, who, ironically enough, was with the Cowboys for a while, and he broke his wrist. He was a linebacker, and so he didn't have much of a career. He kept watching me in track and in the weight room and stuff, and come over and talk to me from time to time, and finally said, I'd really like you to try out for the football team. I'm like, really? What position? Because I played offensive guard in high school. I said, I'm too small to play offensive guard because I'm looking at the guys like Kenny Dalton, who's about 260, 270, and Adam Burkett, who's like 320. And back in that day, you didn't have guys in the NFL too many that were over 300 pounds. I mean, Dave Butts was like one of the first ones. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm too small to be playing with these guys. So these guys are huge, especially on the offensive line. And Charles Jones says, no. Actually, I want you to play on the defensive line, nose guard. I'm like, dude, look at my size. I said, I'm about 210 pounds. He said, no, you don't understand. It's about leverage and it's about speed as well. He said, with your quickness and your strength, he said, I've been seeing you in the weight room. You're strong somebody. He said, you can do really well in our system. So, okay. So, I leave track and field. And I try out for the football team. And it was hell because after playing offense and only having one tackle, which was an interception, playing defense was hell. Because as a nose guard, you're lined up on the center. You get hit by the center. And when they say nose, your nose is right there in front of the football, which sucks. Because every single play, you have the football right there, yet you can't ever touch the damn thing. So you get hit by the center. Our center was about 255. I'm trying to remember. He was actually a short guy. He was like a fire plug. And you get hit by the guard. You get hit by the other guard. You get hit by the guard and the center. And you're constantly just getting hit. But what I tried to do, what the offensive line would always say is, look, if you make me look good, we won't kill you. I said, F that. If I take it easy on you, you're not learning anything. You're not going to be ready for games. F that. So I would literally go all out. And what would happen is, because I was quick, I got up to about 220 pounds, but I was still running at 4.6. And because I was kind of short, I had some leverage. What I could do is, I could shoot. And my first step, like my best move, pass rushing, was a jab, step, and a rip. And what that is you would step to one side and then you would rip back across his face. Okay, so you're stepping over here, he's stepping with you, and then you're dipping your shoulders and you're basically taking your arm and you are just trying to shove it, and just like you're punching somebody, and it's giving a small target. So when you have a guy who was my size, who's quick, who's gotten you stepping off balance, and then you're coming back across his face, and you've got a small target and an arm that's ready to punch you in the mouth, you kind of get lost. And I could get upfield. And what would happen is the offensive line would get cussed out by the coach. You're going to let this little guy over here beat you? So they get pissed off. And I'll remember this practice because Joey Hauck, who was the backup center, I was eating him for lunch. I was constantly hitting our quarterback, Eric Green. And the coaches were cussing his behind out. So then, the offensive linemen were getting pissed off. So they were cheap-shotting me, going at the knees and hitting me. And we were fighting back and forth in practice. And I was just like, at the end of practice, I was just like, why the hell am I going through this? I'm taking all this abuse, and I'm on scout team. I am a freaking blocking bag, because they'll have the first string out here on me. They'll go out, take a break, and get some water. Then they bring the second string out here to go ahead and hit up on us. Then they'll go back out. Then the first string will come back out. Meantime, we're just sitting here like dummies, getting our ass handed. I'm just like, why am I doing this? This sucks. And at the end of practice, our coach, Coach Joe Przicki, father was a used car salesman, and Coach Przicki was tough, but he was fair. He's doing the end of practice stuff, and I'm just pissed off in my head, and I'm just like, F this, man. I can't wait till practice is over so I can get in the locker room, turn in my stuff, and just say, the hell with football. I'm going to go back to track, where we got the girls with those short shorts that are in great shape. Forget football. And I'm stewing. Meanwhile, the coach is over here talking. And he's just reading the riot act. You know, some of you guys just don't go out there and give it your all. You practice like crap, and that's why you play like crap. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Can you hurry up so I can get the hell into the locker room? And he said, you know, there's not many out there of you guys that give 100%. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Can we just get this shit over? I'm just like, maybe I should just get up and leave right now. And he's going through, and he said, you know, there's a guy out there that every single play, he gives it his all. He doesn't care who he's facing. And that's why he's now on the traveling squad. Mark Holmes. And I'm like, man, God, would we hurry up and finish this stuff? And then all of a sudden, people are cheering. And I'm going, what the F? People are congratulating me because they said, now I'm on the traveling squad. What? Okay, cool. Don't know what I'm doing because I was basically fourth on the depth chart. But what it was is they put me on special teams, kickoff coverage. Now, a lot of times I will mispronounce things. I will misspell words. I'll use the wrong form of a word. I'll get forgetful. I'll lose things. And I think it traces back to these days. Wouldn't trade any of it in for anything. So I'm on kickoff coverage. My job is to be a wedge buster. And if you don't know what that means, because we're not going to be seeing much of that anymore because of changing the rules. This is back before the NFL changed from allowing 5 men to be a wedge and reducing it to 3. This is old school football. There was a 5-man wedge. My job was to be right next to the kicker, run 40 yards downfield as fast as I can, and bust the wedge. Think about that. Run full speed ahead into 5 guys to break the wedge. It's a suicide mission. But all week long, they're pumping me up. Yeah, Mark Holmes, you're going to go get some. And we were playing the University of Richmond in the state game at Old Dominion University. It's called the Oyster Bowl, and it's the big game of the state, 2 teams from the state. And the University of Richmond was our rival, nemesis, whatever you want, but it seems like they always ended up getting us. The Richmond Spiders, I hated those guys. So all week they've been pumping us up. And it's finally game day. And I remember being in the locker room getting pumped up. And Coach Przicki is in there, and he's doing a speech that's kind of like Jesse Jackson, I am somebody and things. And I'm just getting this pump like you would not believe. It was like an out-of-body experience. I was literally ready to run through a brick wall. Everybody's up in there pounding me on the face mask, get some, and shoulder pads and stuff. I'm excited as hell. I'm literally, spitting blood. We get out on the field, and we win the toss. So now, I get time to think about this. Damn. I've lost my pump. So I turn around, go over, get some Gatorade, because now I've got to wait. And I'm actually going to move the camera here. Actually, no, I'm not, because then I won't have the microphone. So I'm going over to grab some Gatorade, and I hear all this cheering, and I hear, kick team. What? Did they just say kick team? Kickoff team? We got to kick off? Because we ran it all the way back. So now I've had time to think about what I have to do. Go out there and get on the field. Okay. I'm standing there in position. Kicker's right there. I remember hearing the band. They're playing this beat. It's going da dun 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 da dun 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 da dun 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 da dun dun, and it's getting louder and louder and louder and louder. And I am literally, my heart is just pumping. It feels like it's in my throat. I feel like I'm going to throw up. And the kicker starts stepping up to it. Boom, kicks the ball. I'm running full speed. I see the 5 guys. They circle up. They get there together. They're tight, snug against each other. I am running full speed, and I'm just a couple of yards away, and I close my eyes. I close my eyes, and I run full steam into these guys. The next thing I know, I'm feeling all these guys grabbing me, patting me on the head. Man, great job, and everything. And I open up my eyes. And I'm laying on the ground. And I have the ball carrier underneath of me. Never saw it happen. Until seeing it on film. But what happened is, when I lowered my head, hit the wedge, bounced between 2 guys and got shot out like a cannon, and just kept on full steam, ran right into the ball carrier as he was catching the ball and coming upfield, and boom, knocked him flat down. Boom. Best play of my life, and I never even saw it. So that's my embarrassing story. As Michael puts it, my Rudy story. Because I was literally like Rudy because I played scout team. At the end of the year, I did make Demo of the Year at JMU, 1985. And they called me the Coleman Cooler because I wasn't big enough to be a refrigerator. So that's my story. Unfortunately, we lost the University of Richmond that day, 31-13, so we didn't do a lot of kicking off. but I at least had a special teams career at JMU. So, guys, yes, I do have some college experience, not a lot, but I did see some incredible players from Gary Clark and, of course, Charles Haley. And watching Charles Haley, who's a bit of a nut, was something special to see him on the field. And this is actually a toast to somebody who could have been one hell of a football player. And that's Doug West. Doug was a nose tackle. He was the same age as I am. Doug was that prototypical, in my mind, nose tackle. Doug was 5'11" and about 300 pounds. And it was crazy because he had it made in practice. We had form tackle. And what that was is you would actually get up into the guy's middle of a section, arch your back, pick him up, and do a form tackle and carry him for 10 yards. Doug had no problem carrying me because I was only about 220 pounds. Doug, on the other hand, was about 300, so I ended up having to work my ass off. But Doug, our sophomore year, the first 4 games that we played, the first 4, all 4 games, Doug knocked the quarterback out of the game. True story. Unfortunately, the following year at training camp, he fell off the back of a pickup truck head first and died from head trauma. But I guarantee you, Doug was incredible, and Doug would have been one hell of a football player. So, guys, I want to end this by saying, I'm sorry, I'm a little choked up just even thinking about those memories because, I'm old and having these flashbacks. But I want to thank every one of you guys who have been here. This has been incredible for me to be able to do this, to be able to talk about football, to help me get through the off season, and to have grown the way we've grown. I know we don't always agree and everything else, but I wouldn't trade any of you guys in for anything. So I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing, and we're going to keep getting better and better. So this one, first to Doug, and then to you guys. Thank you, and good night.